What was that? Did you hear that? Ah! It either broke free or it broke. I've got my main water line coming in here, and I've got a ball valve there for the main shutoff. Works great, no problem. But I have a problem with this gate valve right here that I shut off to change my water filter. It's stuck. So I'm going to try to get that unstuck and show you how to do it. Alright, and just to show you, I can turn it a little bit, and I've been working on it. That's all the way open. And I can turn it about one turn, and then it stops dead. And what happens to these, there's a gate that goes down when you turn that down, and it closes off this water line. And then you unscrew it, and it brings that plate up and opens it up so the water can run through. Well, with hard water deposits, that gets corroded in there, buildup of hard water deposits, and it stops working. You don't want to force it, because forcing it is just going to bust it. And if your valve just spins and spins and spins, that means you already broke it, and you have to replace this. Well, I'm going to try to free this up, and I'll just show you. Right now I've got it open, and I'm going to go ahead and close it as far as I can go. I'm going to open up the ball valve down here, and you'll see that's not closed. So the first thing you want to do, if yours is just stuck, which this was in the beginning, you just want to slowly work on it and turn it as you can. And then keep expanding on turning it. And it turns nice up here. But I get down here and it doesn't want to go. So I'm going to be a little more aggressive. Like I said, you don't want to break it. Oh, that's really bad. And you just keep working at the point where it's sticky. You got to be patient. You just keep going at it. And hopefully I can break past this. And I'm going to go get a glove so I don't... Oh, here, I can use a rag. I don't want to have blisters. It is really jammed up in there. I'm going to mark this just to see if I make any progress. Put a little black mark straight in there. I feel like I'm not going anywhere, but I might be. Nope. Didn't budge. Still didn't budge. And you want to be careful while you're doing this. I've got a good secure, the pipe's very secure here. If your pipe's not so secure, you want to be sure to hang on to this so that you don't bust another connection. To prevent this from happening, what you want to do every few months, all the shutoff valves all around your house, at least twice a year, you want to go and turn them all the way off, turn them back on, just to keep them free. And you won't run into this, because this is a problem here. I might have to replace this, and some of you might not be comfortable soldering copper pipe. And if you're not, then you got to call a plumber, and it's a big bill. And I can tell mine's still connected. You know, it's not busted. Actually, it looks like it's moved tiny bit. But a tiny bit is good. If I can break that crust. Otherwise, I'll have to replace the valve. Well, I'm going to try a couple other things, but I forced it there. I don't want to break it, but sometimes you got to be a little aggressive. I did move it further, about that much further. Ay, ay, ay. But I don't like being so aggressive. I have to be honest, I have not operated this as often as I should have, at least twice a year. And I haven't done that. And now I need to turn it off and I can't. It's no problem until you got to use it. Same thing with your toilet. If you got to change your toilet off, you got to be able to shut that thing off and you don't want it to leak. Now there's one other thing that I'd like to try, and that's to take this apart and clean it. I'm sure there's all kinds of hard water deposits in here. If I can get this collar off here, because mine is stuck up at the top, hopefully I can pull this out and the gate, the paddle will come up and everything, and then I can clean this out, all the hard water deposits. I'll put some vinegar in there and that should break that down and be able to clean that up. But some of these you can't take apart. And this thing might be so jammed up, I don't know. But I'm going to try to break this loose. And she's not budging. And it's not worth it for me to bust all this stuff in here. So I'm not going to go any further with this. It'd be easier for me to replace this. But if I could get it apart, I'd clean this all up. So I'm going to continue to try to break this loose, just working back and forth. Some people take a wrench or a pliers to this to get more leverage, which you might be forced to do. But then you run the risk of breaking this because it's probably corroded in here too. This isn't going to work because there's a gasket in there, but I'm just trying to pull out all the stops here. Uh-oh! What was that? Did you hear that? Ah! It either broke free or it broke. Oh, this isn't going anywhere, I don't think. Oh! I broke it, but we tried. It's just all gummed up in there. So here's what I'm going to have to do. I can go to the hardware store and get a new valve, and I think I would get a ball valve. They're a lot less maintenance, a lot less problems. Or I could get a gate valve again, unsolder this, and fix it. And I could put a ball valve right here, because my main water line comes up here. Goes up here. I've got this shut off so it goes through the filter, but I can open this up and I could put a ball valve right here and shut that off, and just don't worry about this thing till a later date. And I need to put a new water filter on anyways and deal with all this later, and I wouldn't need this in the future then. I could just run pipe, and I need to change this out anyways, so I might do that. Well, I had to run to the hardware store, and I picked up a gate valve to show you. And you can see, you turn this and the gate closes. Turn it back the other way and the gate opens, letting water through or stopping water. The problem is these get gummed up, get hard water deposits in there, and they quit working unless you operate them every few months. You need to close them all the way and open them all the way. Well, I'm not going to fight with that anymore. I'm going to go with the ball valve, and you can see that. Open, wide open. Rotate that, the ball closes and shuts your water off. That'll be much easier, and this is easy to install. Let's go do it. I'm going to cut and put that shutoff valve right here. So the water coming up here, going over to the filter, I can shut that down. The water coming up here, going to the house, I can either have that open or closed. What I need to do is mark this to cut it. I'll go ahead and cut these. Now you want to make sure to get your crimp rings on. Otherwise, if you forget them, you got to go back and put them back on. There's one. Make sure you get the other ring on too. Also, now my crimping tool, I just got a cheap one, and I think I got this at Harbor Freight. It's kind of a universal thing. Inexpensive. It does what I need it to do. I don't do this full time. I just squeeze it by hand. That holds it in place. Same thing on the other side. And then you just take your pliers, vice grip, and you pinch that together. And crimp this down. Good. And we got this shut off now. I'm going to open this one. And hopefully we're all set. That was quick and easy. We've got the ball valve installed. This gate valve is busted. I bought a union to put in here. I'm going to get rid of this. So I don't need that anymore. I'm all set up here. I'm going to put a new water filter in also. So I'll just have pipe from here over to here. I can unscrew this. I can change this out. Now I've got my shut off up here. These are super simple. Work real easy. On, off. And when I want to run the filter, I'll just turn that off. And I have to turn the one on this side on. And then the water is going to run through here, feed the house and the barn. So we're all set. Don't have to deal with this anymore. If this video was a help to you, give it a thumbs up. If you haven't already, please consider subscribing. And I look forward to helping you with other projects online.